What's up, you guys? Brandon here. I'm hanging out here at my house right now, as I'm sure you're hanging out at your house right now too. And every Wednesday, Ashley or I, we're going to be recording a video to share some of the things that we are learning in this season and see if there's anything you might learn from that as well. Here's what I'm learning right now. Don't watch the wind. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Brandon, what does that even mean? What does that even look like? I'll explain. I've been reading from the book of Matthew lately. In that book, I came across a story which I know you're already familiar with, but it's Jesus walking on water. And there's a detail in that story that I hadn't ever noticed before. In that story, Jesus is walking on water up to the disciples' boat. At first they're scared, but Jesus says, hey, it's just me, don't worry. And then Peter says, Jesus, if that's really you, then invite me to walk on water with you. And here's the detail I'd never noticed in this story before. So Peter went over to the side of the boat and walked on water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. Save me, Lord. The Bible says that Peter began to sink when he was watching the wind. He went from having his eyes fixed on Jesus to losing his focus. Something that I believe to be true is that faith and fear are both a product of our focus. Now, reality is, the world for us right now feels crazy. We've had cancellations and we've had warnings, and it feels moment by moment like we're getting new news that feels scary or threatening. And there's fun things on social media right now, but even there it feels like the wind is grasping for our attention. I don't know about you, I'm not one to usually feel anxiety, but with all the news lately, I'm starting to feel it. And my guess is you probably have too at some point in the last few days, and the wind has gotten the best of you too. But when we choose to hyper-focus on the wind around us and lose our focus on what Jesus is doing in our life, that is when we begin to sink, we begin to struggle. I really truly believe that if we give Jesus our attention, there might be some significant things he'd speak to us in our quieter moments. So here's my challenge for you, Flipside. What is one thing you can do every single day to help remind you to focus your eyes on Jesus? For me, right now, I created a playlist, a worship playlist, and in this room right here is where I start my morning, listening to worship music, drinking my morning coffee, and spending time with Jesus to help me focus my eyes on Jesus and not on the wind. Don't watch the wind, Flipside. I'll see you guys later.